Hi everybody, it's Michael again, and it is time for an update for our RV internet setup right after this. If you're not already a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, ring that notification bell so you'll know when we post new content, and share this video out with a friend who may be looking for tips and tricks on RV internet. So, as I'm filming this, it is the second week of May 2021, so this is our May 2021 update. And what's changed since our January 2021 update? In that video, we were using Nomad Internet for an AT&T solution. We were using Visible as our Verizon solution, and we were using an IBR 6000C router from Cradlepoint and our TP-Link router and a WeBoost. So, from all the equipment perspective and all the services perspective, we are still using exactly the same thing. It has been working phenomenal. We've had no issues with any of it, but we do have some things we need to talk about today. Number one, and it's the hot topic right now in the RV community, and that is Starlink. Elon Musk's Starlink is a game changer, folks. It is $99 a month. There is a $500 equipment and setup fee, but it's only $99 a month, and it's true super fast internet via satellite. So you're not tied down to being close to a cell tower. So a couple of quick notes. It's still in beta testing, which means a limited number of users in limited areas. They are planning to launch tens of thousands more satellites than they already have. So their footprints are limited right now, and so they're also limiting the users in each one of those footprints. Now how it works today is if it's available at your address that you're at, you'll get the equipment, and it'll only work in that spot in about a 10-11 mile radius around that spot, and that's it. Once you're out of that range, even though you may have clear view of the sky, you can connect to a satellite and all that stuff, it's not going to work. And that's just the way they have it set up right now because they're still in testing mode. Now, can you use it as a mobile RVer? Yes, you can. But it takes a few tricks. Number one is you can easily change your service address. You just go on the app or go online. You can change your service address to wherever you're at. And as long as wherever you're at currently is a beta testing location and they have availability in that location, you'll be able to use your Starlink internet access. Keep in mind, you're not guaranteed it'll work, because if there's already a maximum number of users in that particular cell, then you're not going to be able to get in. The downside to that too is once you change your service address, you've lost your spot back at your home address. So if you're not if you actually have a sticks and bricks that you're going to go back to, you may have just lost your Starlink internet access at that location, because if somebody else comes into that area and signs in, they take your spot. And if that area is full, when you get back, you're not going to be able to get in. So you'll be paying your $99 a month, and you'll not have any service anywhere until a spot becomes available. Just a couple things to keep in mind. Plus, if you buy right now, you're probably going to have to buy again when it does become mobile, and they're looking at towards the end of this year for Starlink to be mobile, and I have a good feeling that's going to require different equipment, especially if you want it to work while you're in motion. Now today it's just a very simple setup. I don't have it, but I've watched a lot of videos on it. It's a pretty small satellite dish pointed up in the sky. It works. If they come up with an in-motion system, it's probably going to be very similar to the Winegard in-motion satellite system for Dish Network, where it's just going to be in a dome and the dish will spin around to connect to a satellite. I don't know, that's just a guess, but I'm pretty certain that it's going to cost you an extra $500 or so in equipment and setup fees. So you can be an early adopter now if it's available in your area and hope it works as you move along, or you can just wait until the mobile option comes out. There'll be more areas open by then as well. They're opening up more and more areas across the United States every week, every month, and they're launching satellites constantly as well. So that's a quick Starlink update. If it was available where I was at right now, I would go ahead and get it and give it a shot, but it's not, so I'm not. Back to our regularly scheduled cellular-based internet solution. Now, the campground we're in right now has Wi-Fi advertised, and as usual, the campground Wi-Fi here is not good. Now, why do I care about campground Wi-Fi? Honestly, I don't. But I get a lot of questions from people who depend on campground Wi-Fi, and they want to know how to make campground Wi-Fi better. And unfortunately, there is no way. You can get a Wi-Fi booster if the signal you're getting from the campground Wi-Fi is low. It's not going to speed the Wi-Fi up. It's just going to make the signal better so you can connect to it easier. But it's still going to be slow. So what's the point of a Wi-Fi booster if it doesn't make the internet faster? Well, that's not the point of a Wi-Fi booster. A Wi-Fi booster is only designed to make the connection to the Wi-Fi network stronger, to make that signal stronger. It's not meant to make it faster. Matter of fact, in most cases, it's going to slow down the speed of that network. So keep that in mind as well. Now, once in a great while, very rarely, it could actually increase the speed marginally, but most of the time, it's going to decrease the speed, or the speed's going to be the same. So now that we figured out that a Wi-Fi booster really isn't that helpful, what do we do? Well, we need to go back to our cellular-based solutions for now. We're using Nomad and Visible, like I said. Now, I did try another company. They offered a Sprint solution, so I tried that out in this same campground, and it didn't work for me. And again, that's just the nature of whatever area you're in. So when I say my AT&T solution is Nomad, that's just who I bought the service from. It's still AT&T. And when I say Visible for my Verizon solution, it's still Verizon. It's working off Verizon towers or AT&T towers, whatever the case may be. None of these companies, Nomad, RV4G, Unlimitedville, and there's a bunch of other ones out there, all they are is resellers. They don't own any cell towers. They're just reselling T-Mobile or AT&T or Verizon or whoever. So keep that in mind. If you are in an area that has poor AT&T cell coverage, for instance, and you have Nomad AT&T based solution, it's not going to work well. That's not Nomad's fault, and there's nothing Nomad can do about it. Same if you're in a bad Verizon area, Visible's not going to work, and it's not Visible's fault. It's just what it is. So keep that in mind with whatever reseller you go with. If you choose to go with a reseller, they have no technology. They don't manage cell towers. They don't manage the SIMs. None of that. They're just reselling the product. It's no different than if I walk into a Verizon store, I buy this tablet that works on 4G, and then I turn around and say, I'm going to sell this tablet to you for whatever a month. Okay, if this tablet breaks or you have problems connecting, I can't do anything about it because I don't own the technology. All I can do, since I am the owner of record as far as Verizon is concerned for this device, all I can do is contact Verizon on your behalf and say, hey, this isn't working. What can you do to fix it? So basically, I'm a middleman. And that's what all these companies are. They're just a middleman. So keep that in mind. No matter which reseller you go with, again, it's a reseller. So enough of that. You need to have two different solutions if you're a full-timer and you depend on internet. And for us, I picked AT&T and Verizon as the two major carriers I want to go with because most of the places we go, one or both of them are the predominant carrier in that area. T-Mobile is getting bigger, especially with the acquisition of Sprint, but they still have a long way to go in a lot of rural areas that we like to travel. Now, the nice thing about the IBR 600C router that we have, that has capability for 2 SIM slots, plus I can connect to other sources through Wi-Fi and use that as another method, and that's how I connect the Visible phone. So that leaves me with 2 SIM card slots. One, I've got AT&T in, so I can connect to AT&T. Now, the other great thing about the Cradlepoint router here is it'll auto-select between the two which one has the best service at that time. And it checks every few minutes, and it'll switch between Visible and Nomad depending on which one is offering the best speed, most reliability. Now I have an extra SIM card slot. If I ever come into an area where there's a large T-Mobile presence and Verizon and AT&T are very poor in that area, which I don't think there are any areas like that, but if there were, then I could purchase a SIM from any reseller, including Nomad, and plug that in, and I'd be back in business. Again, I wouldn't have to change anything in the router. The router just automatically will switch between the 3 sources. If I'm in a campground that has super fast Wi-Fi, and I've only been to one in the last 4 years that has super fast Wi-Fi, I can connect the router to that campground Wi-Fi and use that as a source of internet access as well. And again, the router will pick between the campground, Visible, AT&T, etc., whichever one's the fastest. And like I said in the previous video too, while the Cradlepoint router does have the ability to be an internal router, so I can connect all my devices to it, this particular router is limited, and it only has the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, which is pretty crowded. So I already had a TP-Link router in my home, so when we sold the home, I just put that in here, hardwire connected that to the Cradlepoint router, and so that router is actually what I use for my internal home network. And I just did that because it has the 5 gigahertz band, not to be confused with 5G, but 5 gigahertz band, which offers better coverage and faster speeds. Starlink is going to be a huge game changer. I'm going to get it as soon as I can, as soon as it's available in my area. I just need to get the email from Elon to say, hey, you're in a green area, go for it. So as soon as I get that, I'll let you guys know how it works out. So if you have any questions about our internet setup, or just internet in general, feel free to leave a note in the comments below. If you have a better idea for RV connectivity, leave us a note in the comments below so everybody can see that. And I'm always looking for new and better ideas, and more importantly, inexpensive ideas. The one thing I didn't touch on was price here, and the price really hasn't changed. I'm paying $25 a month for Visible, and that's 100% uncapped and unlimited on the AT&T side with Nomad. I'm paying $149 a month. So that's pretty pricey, but it's really about the cheapest AT&T solution out there that offers unlimited, uncapped service. I've seen AT&T service for as low as $100, but it's 100 gigabytes. That's just not going to cut it for us, so we need something unlimited. Nomad is the answer for us. Just keep in mind, you need to make sure that the area you're in has good coverage for that particular carrier. Before you get there, you can do that by looking for coverage maps online. There's apps you can get on your phone that tells you what cell coverage is available in what area. And also keep in mind too, with any of these hotspot plans, the regular phone service is prioritized over them. So for phones using data on that particular tower you're connected to, they're going to have a higher priority to get to that data and use it than you will using one of these data only plans. So just keep that in mind. Again, that's something from the carrier that has nothing to do with the reseller. Thank you for any comments you provide, any questions, we'll get your answers. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you'll know when we come out with future videos. And if you'd like to help us help small local veterans charities all across the United States, consider becoming a Patreon or a YouTube member, or just hitting that applause button down below and leaving a small donation. Any money raised from any of those options, 100% of it goes directly to a small local veterans charity. And we choose to partner with small local veterans charities because they're usually the ones that need the money the most, and they're doing the most good in the local community. So my fellow adventure seekers, thank you so much for watching, and may your next journey be an epic adventure. Bye.